Keto and intermittent fasting work together in a powerful way because both approaches naturally lower insulin, and when insulin drops, the body finally gains access to its stored fat. Most people spend their entire day eating from morning to night, keeping insulin constantly elevated without realizing it. Even small snacks, sugary drinks, or a so-called healthy breakfast can keep insulin high enough to block fat burning for the entire day. When insulin stays elevated, your body stays in storage mode, and it cannot tap into its fat reserves. This is why many men, especially after 50, struggle with stubborn belly fat despite eating less or trying different workout routines. Their bodies are simply never given the chance to switch into fat-burning mode. Keto and intermittent fasting provide that chance by lowering the hormone that controls whether your body stores fat or burns it. When you lower insulin through a low-carb lifestyle, something interesting happens. Your appetite begins to calm down. Those intense cravings that used to drive you towards snacks or sweets start to fade because your blood sugar becomes more stable. Your energy levels stop fluctuating. Instead of the typical highs and crashes caused by frequent eating and refined carbs, your body begins running on clean, steady fuel. Healthy fats like avocados, eggs, olive oil, butter, nuts, seeds, and fish become your primary source of energy. These fats digest slowly, keeping you full for much longer than sugar or processed carbohydrates ever could. As your body becomes more efficient at using fats as fuel, you naturally find yourself eating less without feeling deprived or hungry. This is one of the biggest benefits of combining keto with intermittent fasting. It feels effortless because your hormones start working with you instead of against you. Intermittent fasting adds another layer of metabolic support by giving your digestive system a break. When you stop eating for several hours, insulin finally has a chance to fall. Many people think fasting is difficult because they imagine long periods without food, but in reality, most people simply shift their eating window. A common method is the 16 and 8 approach, where you fast for 16 hours and eat within an 8-hour window. For many, this might mean finishing dinner earlier and skipping breakfast the next day. Your first meal could be around noon, and your second meal late afternoon or early evening. This gives your body a long stretch of time where it can tap into stored fat for fuel. Over time, this becomes easier and even enjoyable because your hunger hormones begin to regulate themselves. Instead of feeling controlled by food, you begin to feel in control of your appetite. One of the biggest advantages of lowering insulin is the effect it has on inflammation. High insulin is linked to chronic inflammation, which shows up as joint stiffness, digestive issues, skin problems, brain fog, and slower recovery after exercise. When insulin drops, inflammation naturally decreases. Many people report clearer thinking, lighter digestion, less bloating, and improved mental focus. The brain, in particular, loves ketones. Ketones are the byproduct of fat burning, and they provide a stable, clean energy source for the brain. This is why many people feel sharper, more focused, and more calm once they become fat adapted. Instead of relying on glucose spikes for mental energy, your brain receives a steady supply of ketone fuel. Lowering insulin also helps stabilize other hormones. Men over 50 often experience changes in their metabolism because of shifts in hormones like testosterone and growth hormone. When insulin is high, these hormones cannot operate efficiently. High insulin suppresses fat burning, affects muscle maintenance, and interferes with proper hormone balance. By lowering insulin through keto and intermittent fasting, you create an environment where these hormones can work properly again. Many men notice improved strength, better recovery, and increased physical stamina. Even their sleep tends to improve because their blood sugar becomes more stable overnight. Without those early morning or late night glucose crashes, the body can rest more deeply and recover more effectively. A major part of lowering insulin is reducing refined carbohydrates. These foods cause sudden spikes in insulin levels, leading to hunger, cravings, and energy crashes. Removing foods like bread, pasta, pastries, sugary drinks, rice, cereal, and processed snacks allows insulin to gradually lower throughout the day. Replacing these foods with healthy fats and proteins helps keep your blood sugar steady. When blood sugar stays stable, your mood improves, mental clarity increases, and your body becomes much more efficient at burning stored fat. This is why people often notice that their waistline shrinks even without intense exercise. Their body is simply no longer locked in storage mode. Another powerful effect of lowering insulin is that it reduces the amount of fat stored around the liver. Fatty liver is extremely common, especially in men over 50, and high insulin is one of the main causes. When fat accumulates in the liver, it becomes harder to metabolize nutrients, regulate hormones, and burn fat effectively. Keto and intermittent fasting help reverse this process by lowering insulin and forcing the body to use fat as fuel. As the liver becomes healthier, metabolism improves, the body becomes more efficient at managing energy, processing fats, and regulating blood sugar. Many people notice improvements in their digestion, less bloating, and a steadier appetite once the liver begins to function more smoothly. Lowering insulin through keto and intermittent fasting also helps stabilize hunger hormones such as leptin and ghrelin. When insulin is high, the brain receives mixed signals about hunger and fullness, leading to overeating or cravings. Once insulin comes down, these hormones begin to communicate properly again. You start to feel full sooner. You stop thinking about food constantly. You no longer need frequent snacks or late night eating. Instead of feeling like you're battling your appetite all day, your appetite begins to support your goals. This is one reason many people find keto and intermittent fasting much easier to maintain than traditional dieting. A lowered insulin state also helps improve cellular health. When you fast, your body triggers a process called autophagy. This is when your body begins cleaning out damaged cells and regenerating new ones. Autophagy is like an internal repair system that becomes active when you are not eating. High insulin blocks this process, but fasting and low-carb eating allow it to happen naturally. This contributes to better immune function, clearer skin, improved digestion, and a more youthful feeling overall. Your body becomes more efficient at repairing itself, which is especially beneficial for men who want to maintain vitality and strength as they age. Another benefit of lowering insulin is that it improves insulin sensitivity. Insulin sensitivity determines how efficiently your body responds to insulin. When your cells are insulin resistant, your body requires more insulin to manage blood sugar. This leads to weight gain, fatigue, and difficulty losing fat. Keto and intermittent fasting reverse this by lowering the demand for insulin. Over time, your cells become more responsive again. This means you need less insulin to manage blood sugar, and your body can finally switch into fat-burning mode more easily. Improved insulin sensitivity is one of the strongest predictors of long-term health. Throughout this process, your metabolism begins to shift. Instead of relying on frequent meals and carbohydrates, your body becomes accustomed to using fat as its primary fuel source. This metabolic flexibility allows you to go longer between meals without feeling tired or irritable. Your energy becomes more stable and you feel more productive during the day. Many people notice improved focus, fewer cravings, and a stronger sense of control over their eating habits. This natural shift in metabolism is one of the biggest reasons keto and intermittent fasting are so effective for long-term results. Lowering insulin also helps reduce visceral fat, which is the deep abdominal fat stored around vital organs. This type of fat is associated with higher health risks and becomes more common as men age. Keto and fasting help target this fat because lowering insulin forces the body to break down stored energy in deeper fat reserves. As visceral fat decreases, men often notice improved waist measurement, better cardiovascular health, and more comfortable movement throughout the day. Keto and intermittent fasting also complement each other because keto makes fasting easier and fasting makes keto more effective. When you eat low carb, your hunger naturally goes down, making it easier to fast. When you fast, your insulin drops even further, making keto more powerful. This synergy creates a metabolic environment where fat burning becomes continuous rather than occasional. Instead of waiting for your body to burn fat only during workouts, you allow it to burn fat around the clock. Even your gut health can improve when insulin lowers. Excessive carbs and sugar feed harmful gut bacteria, which can lead to bloating, discomfort, and digestive instability. Keto helps reduce this imbalance by lowering sugar intake and supporting beneficial bacteria. Fasting also gives the gut time to rest and repair, reducing inflammation and supporting overall digestive function. All of these effects begin with one principle: lowering insulin. When you lower insulin, your body finally gets the opportunity to tap into stored fat, stabilize hormones, improve metabolism, and regain natural energy. Keto provides the nutritional foundation, fasting provides the time and advantage, and together they help the body operate the way it was designed to. Men over 50 often experience a shift in their bodies that feels sudden, but it's actually the result of gradual changes happening over years. The drop in energy, the stubborn belly fat that refuses to shrink, the slower metabolism, and the feeling that strength or endurance isn't what it used to be are all tied to deeper physiological changes. One of the most overlooked reasons for these challenges is how the body processes carbohydrates as it ages. When you're younger, your metabolism is more flexible, your hormones are more responsive, and your liver handles sugar more efficiently. But as you cross 50, insulin sensitivity decreases, meaning the same foods that were once harmless can now trigger weight gain and fatigue. This is why so many men feel frustrated when they say, "I'm eating the same amount, but gaining weight anyway." Their bodies simply aren't reacting the same way anymore. Reducing carbs becomes one of the most powerful ways to reverse this trend. Carbohydrates, especially refined ones like bread, rice, pasta, and sugary foods, spike insulin. And insulin is the hormone responsible for storing fat. When insulin is high, fat burning shuts down. So even if you're not overeating, your body is still in storage mode. This is why belly fat is so persistent for men over 50. It's not just a surface level issue, it's deeply tied to insulin resistance. By lowering carb intake, you take pressure off your pancreas and allow insulin levels to gradually come down. When insulin lowers, your body finally gains access to stored fat, making it much easier to lose weight, especially around the midsection. Supporting liver health is equally important because the liver is the hub for metabolism, hormone processing, and detoxification. Many men develop fatty liver without knowing it, and this condition makes weight loss nearly impossible. A fatty liver cannot efficiently process nutrients, regulate blood sugar, or break down fats. When the liver becomes overwhelmed, you feel tired, heavy, and sluggish. Reducing carbs is one of the fastest ways to begin reversing a fatty liver. As insulin drops, the liver starts releasing stored fat and functioning more efficiently. Adding foods like cruciferous vegetables, kale, broccoli, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts can accelerate this process because they help cleanse and regenerate liver tissue. Lemon water, apple cider vinegar, and staying hydrated also help lighten the workload on the liver so it can perform at its best. Energy levels improve when carbs and sugar are reduced because your body stops relying on glucose spikes for fuel. Glucose gives quick energy, but it also brings sudden crashes that leave you feeling drained. When you reduce carbs, your body learns to run on fat instead. Fat is a more stable and long-lasting source of fuel. Men often notice that their mood becomes more stable, their focus sharper, and their stamina more consistent because they're no longer riding the roller coaster of blood sugar highs and lows. This change is especially noticeable during workouts or daily physical activity. Instead of feeling tired halfway through the day, you feel more balanced and steady. Reducing processed carbs also helps lower inflammation, which is one of the biggest contributors to aging-related discomfort. Joint pain, stiffness, slow recovery, and digestive issues are often connected to inflammation. Sugar and refined carbs promote inflammation throughout the body, aggravating these symptoms. When men cut out these foods and replace them with nutrient-dense options like vegetables, quality proteins, and healthy fats, the inflammation naturally reduces. Many men report less joint discomfort, better mobility, clearer thinking, and improved digestion simply from making these dietary adjustments. Reducing inflammation also supports heart health, which becomes increasingly important after age 50. Another major benefit of lowering carb intake for men over 50 is its effect on muscle preservation. When insulin resistance is high, muscle-building hormones like testosterone and growth hormone do not function optimally. The body struggles to build muscle and burns fewer calories at rest. By reducing carbs and improving insulin sensitivity, you create hormonal conditions that support muscle maintenance. This makes strength training more effective, increases metabolism, and helps maintain a youthful body composition. Even small amounts of resistance training combined with a low-carb diet can create noticeable improvements in muscle tone, strength, and overall stamina. Reducing carbs also stabilizes appetite, which can be a major challenge for men dealing with cravings or emotional eating. High-carb foods trigger hunger cycles because they spike blood sugar quickly and drop it just as fast. When you lower carbs, your body no longer experiences these drastic fluctuations. Instead, you feel fuller for longer, your cravings reduce, and you gain better control over your portions without feeling deprived. This makes healthy eating sustainable rather than exhausting. Men often find themselves naturally eating less once their hormones and blood sugar stabilize. Hormone balance plays an enormous role in weight control, energy, and mental clarity. Carbs and sugar disrupt hormone balance by elevating insulin and increasing cortisol, the stress hormone linked to belly fat. Men over 50 typically have higher stress levels due to work, responsibilities, and life changes. When carbs are reduced, cortisol becomes easier to manage. Lower insulin also reduces the burden on the adrenal glands, allowing stress hormones to stabilize. This contributes to improved sleep, better focus, and a calmer mood. A balanced hormone environment is essential for maintaining vitality and preventing the rapid decline many men experience in their late 40s and early 50s. Lowering carb intake also helps regulate cholesterol and triglycerides, improving heart function and circulation. Many men are told that dietary fat is harmful, but the real problem is sugar and processed carbs. These foods cause the liver to produce more triglycerides, which contribute to heart issues. When you reduce carbs, triglycerides often drop rapidly, and HDL, the protective cholesterol, begins to rise. This shift improves overall cardiovascular health and supports long-term well-being. Supporting liver health through diet also helps detoxification processes, which can slow down with age. A sluggish liver contributes to fatigue, mental dullness, and difficulty losing weight. When the liver is cleansed through low-carb eating, hydration, and nutrient-rich foods, your body becomes more efficient at eliminating toxins. This results in clearer skin, better digestion, more stable energy, and improved overall vitality. Many men underestimate the connection between diet and brain function. High-carb diets contribute to brain fog, forgetfulness, and slower cognitive processing because of blood sugar fluctuations and inflammation. Reducing carbs helps the brain shift to ketones, which are cleaner and more efficient fuel. Men often feel mentally sharper, more focused, and more productive. This mental clarity can be one of the most noticeable benefits of switching to a low-carb lifestyle. For men over 50, Reducing carbs and supporting liver health is not just about weight loss. It's about restoring the body's natural balance. It's about reversing years of metabolic stress, stabilizing mood and energy, improving hormone function, reducing inflammation, and giving the body a chance to operate at a higher level. The combination of low-carb eating, nutrient-rich foods, hydration, and lifestyle adjustments creates an environment where the body begins to repair itself. As insulin lowers and liver function improves, men often feel younger, lighter, stronger, and more in control of their health. A nutrient-dense, low-carb lifestyle combined with stress control and light movement works together in a way that supports your entire system, especially as you move past age 50 and your body begins responding differently to food, stress, and daily routines. Many men notice that even when they try to eat better or exercise more, the results aren't the same as they were in their 30s or 40s. The metabolism slows, recovery takes longer, and stubborn fat, especially around the belly, becomes noticeably harder to lose. But what often gets overlooked is that the body is not failing, it's adapting. The key is to create a lifestyle that works with this new physiology instead of pushing against it. A nutrient-dense, low-carb approach gives your body the raw materials it needs to function well, and when it is paired with stress reduction and gentle movement, everything begins to work more smoothly. Nutrient density becomes incredibly important as you age because the body requires more minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants to keep systems running efficiently, yet the digestive system may not absorb nutrients as easily as it once did. A nutrient-dense meal doesn't just mean eating more vegetables. It means choosing foods that pack a high nutritional impact per bite. Foods like eggs, wild-caught fish, grass-fed meats, avocados, nuts, seeds, berries, leafy greens, and cruciferous vegetables deliver the essential nutrients your body needs without overwhelming it with excess carbohydrates. These foods provide stable energy, support brain function, fuel muscle maintenance, and help reduce inflammation. Men over 50 often find that when they shift toward this type of eating, their digestion improves, energy stabilizes, and they experience fewer cravings because their body is finally receiving what it needs at a cellular level. When you follow a low-carb approach, you help your body lower insulin. And this is where one of the biggest changes happens. Insulin is the hormone that determines whether you store fat or burn fat. When insulin is high, due to regular intake of sugars, breads, refined grains, and frequent snacking, fat burning is almost completely blocked. By removing most of these carbs and replacing them with nutrient-rich whole foods, insulin naturally drops. When insulin drops, the body begins to burn stored fat for fuel instead of relying on constant sugar intake. This leads to more balanced energy rather than roller coaster highs and lows. Many men are surprised by how quickly their cravings disappear once insulin stabilizes, because cravings are often hormonal signals rather than actual hunger. With lower carbs and increased nutrient density, the body shifts into a more efficient metabolic rhythm. Another benefit of eating this way is improved hormonal balance. Men over 50 experience a decline in certain hormones, but supporting your metabolism through nutrition can make a huge difference. When insulin is chronically high, it interferes with testosterone levels, cortisol control, and growth hormone production. These hormones affect everything from muscle mass to energy to mental clarity. With a low-carb lifestyle, insulin drops and these hormones become more stable, allowing the body to maintain muscle better, recover more efficiently, and support cognitive performance. Nutrient-dense foods also contain minerals like zinc, magnesium, and selenium, which are essential for hormone production and overall vitality. Reducing inflammation is another major advantage of a nutrient-dense, low-carb lifestyle. Foods high in sugar and refined carbohydrates are inflammatory and can cause joint pain, digestive discomfort, and slower recovery from physical activity. When you switch to whole foods, especially vegetables rich in antioxidants, healthy fats that support cell repair, and clean proteins that nourish muscles, you reduce the inflammatory burden on your body. Men often report that they feel lighter, more flexible, and more comfortable in their daily movements because their inflammation levels decrease naturally. This leads to better mobility, improved posture, and fewer aches that previously felt unavoidable. A nutrient-dense lifestyle also supports the brain. After 50, many men begin to notice more brain fog, slower processing, or difficulty focusing for long periods. A low-carb approach helps because it stabilizes blood sugar and produces ketones, which are an excellent source of fuel for the brain. Unlike glucose, which fluctuates constantly, ketones provide a steady, clean energy supply. This leads to sharper thinking, improved concentration, and a calmer state of mind. Additionally, foods rich in omega-3s, antioxidants, and B vitamins help nourish the brain, reduce oxidative stress, and support long-term cognitive health. Pairing this dietary approach with stress control is essential because chronic stress is one of the biggest obstacles to health after age 50. High cortisol, the stress hormone, has a direct effect on weight gain, especially around the midsection. It also disrupts sleep, interferes with muscle recovery, and drains energy. Many men don't realize that stress can have an effect just as strong as diet when it comes to metabolism. You could be eating clean and exercising, but if your stress levels are high, the body stays in survival mode and holds on to fat. Simple stress-reducing habits such as deep breathing, stretching, spending a few minutes in sunlight, taking calm evening walks, reducing caffeine late in the day, or practicing a short mindfulness routine can make a massive difference. These activities lower cortisol and improve your body's ability to burn fat, regulate hormones, and maintain a healthy metabolism. Sleep plays a key role in stress reduction as well. Lack of sleep raises cortisol and increases cravings for sugar or high-carb foods. When you're tired, your body naturally seeks quick energy sources, which often leads to overeating or poor food choices. Improving sleep hygiene by creating a calm nighttime environment, turning off screens earlier, keeping your room cool, and avoiding heavy meals late at night supports your metabolism as much as diet does. Sleep is the time when the body repairs, rebuilds, and resets. Without quality sleep, weight loss and overall health improvements become much harder. When men over 50 begin improving their sleep alongside their low-carb diet, they often notice that their mood improves, their energy rises, and their appetite becomes more controlled. Incorporating light movement into daily life rounds out this lifestyle approach. Light movement such as walking, stretching, mobility work, or gentle resistance training enhances insulin sensitivity, reduces stress, and improves circulation. Many men think the only way to get in shape is through intense workouts, but after 50, the body responds incredibly well to consistent, moderate movement. Even a 20-30-minute walk after meals can significantly improve blood sugar levels and support fat burning. Gentle strength training helps preserve muscle mass, which naturally declines with age. Maintaining muscle is important because muscle tissue increases your metabolism and helps you stay functional and strong. Movement does not need to be complicated or strenuous. Walking, bodyweight exercises, light dumbbells, swimming, and cycling all support your health without putting extra stress on your joints. Stretching and mobility work help reduce stiffness and improve posture, which can make everyday tasks feel easier and prevent injuries. The combination of low-carb eating, stress management, and regular light movement creates an environment where your metabolism becomes more efficient, your hormones more balanced, and your energy more consistent. Hydration is another component that ties these lifestyle changes together. Water helps maintain digestion, supports liver function, improves nutrient absorption, and reduces cravings mistaken for hunger. Adding electrolytes or mineral-rich foods helps keep your system balanced, especially when lowering carbs. Minerals like potassium, magnesium, and sodium are essential for muscle function, nerve health, and energy production. Without them, you may feel tired or sluggish. Hydration becomes even more important because low-carb diets naturally reduce water retention. Staying hydrated improves physical performance, concentration, digestion, and overall well-being. As men adopt this combined lifestyle, nutrient-dense eating, lower carbs, better stress control, and consistent light movement, they begin to notice changes that go beyond weight loss. Their mood stabilizes, their energy returns, their digestion improves, and their confidence grows. They feel more in control of their health rather than feeling like their age is controlling them. The body feels lighter both physically and mentally. Clothes fit better, thinking becomes clearer, and daily tasks feel easier. Many men describe this as returning to a version of themselves they thought they had lost. This lifestyle supports long-term vitality because it works with your biology. It respects the changes your body goes through with age while helping you restore balance and strengthen your foundation. The focus is not on short-term dieting or strict workout routines. It is about creating daily habits that nourish your metabolic health, reduce unnecessary stress, and keep your body moving in ways that support longevity. This approach is sustainable, realistic, and impactful for men who want to maintain strength, mental sharpness, and overall wellness well into their later years.